If you're relatively new to your homesteading journey, winter can be a really challenging time. And overlooking winter preparation can cost you time, money, and forgetting one simple but oftentimes overlooked task can even mean the difference between life and death. But don't worry, because we've got you covered. Together we're going to go over ways that you can increase your garden's productivity, store your yard and garden equipment to reduce downtime and costly repairs, provide a comfortable living space while reducing heating costs, and keep you and your family safe as we wait for spring. So grab yourself a warm cup of cocoa and let's get you, your home, and your garden ready for the cold months ahead. Tip number 1. Most commonly grown garden plants, especially tomatoes and peppers, are susceptible to a number of fungi and diseases. If your plants are left in the garden to freeze and die, some of those fungi and diseases can actually winter over and then cause all sorts of problems for next year's growing season. New plants can become infected early, leading to dying plants or very poor production. However, there's a relatively easy fix for this problem. Before the months of deep spreading frost, we like to pull our plants from the previous harvest to prevent the spread of any potential diseases that can winter over and then harm your new plants come next spring. As a bonus, if you planted peppers, take a moment to consider overwintering them for a more colorful and extended harvest next season. Be sure to check out my video on overwintering pepper plants as I show you a step-by-step how-to and provide a full explanation of benefits. Tip number 2. This is actually a two-part tip that can solve two problems at one time. Have you ever noticed those weird little unsightly veins that can appear in your lawn once spring has arrived? This isn't a disease of any sort that's killing your lawn. This damage is actually caused by a vole. Not a mole that digs underground, but a vole with a V, like in Victor. These little mouse-like rodents actually create trails through your lawn as they feast on the grasses and roots. Tall lawns and excessive clippings can create a layer of insulation once snow has fallen, and it leads to an ideal feeding ground for voles. But here's how you can minimize the damage without the use of poisonous bait traps. Mow shorter and get rid of grass clippings that can blanket the ground and protect these critters from the cold. I like to mow my lawn around 2 to 2.5 inches in height during the fall. This is also a good opportunity to move excessive grass clippings to your garden along with fallen leaves and compostable food scraps. And then tilling those ingredients and distributing them for a more even mix will improve the composting process to ensure that your garden is ready to go for next spring. On to tip number 3. Do you ever find yourself fighting to start lawnmowers, tillers, or any other gas-powered tools that you use on your homestead after pulling them out of winter storage? If you're leaving fuel in any of your equipment over winter without additives, you're probably doing more harm than good. Low-octane fuels, especially any fuels containing ethanol, break down, lose combustibility, and they can gum up all of the small ports in your engine's carburetor, making it almost impossible to start. Adding a fuel stabilizer like Stable or Startron can help prevent unused fuel from breaking down over winter, but I also suggest using only premium fuel with no ethanol in all of your small engines. From my own personal experience, using 91 octane fuel alone in all of my gas-powered equipment has not caused any starting issues even without the use of fuel stabilizers. In fact, I have disassembled carburetors suspecting bad fuel to be the cause of a starting problem because I didn't drain it, only to find out the carburetor looked like brand new on the inside with zero gum up and no residue. The fuel delivery issue was actually caused by the fuel line itself. Tip number 4. Don't let winter's fury destroy your exterior faucets, especially the frost-proof anti-siphon faucets that can freeze and burst inside of your house wall. You can find plenty of examples on YouTube of people who have learned this lesson the hard way. As you can see right here, this type of faucet assembly actually extends inside of your house wall, and back here is actually where the point of water shuts off. This allows the stretch of pipe passing through the wall to clear itself of water and prevent freezing and bursting once in contact with frigid air from outside. So here's what you need to do. Remove all of your garden hoses and hose reels from these faucets. If you leave a hose connected to the faucet, water can actually become trapped in that length of pipe within your wall, and it can freeze. If it freezes, you could risk a burst pipe, but you may not find out until next spring when you open up the faucet and water is leaking into your wall and possibly into the basement or crawl space. Tip number 5. Ice and heavy snow can tear gutters off your homes. Clogged downspouts can lead to ice dams, causing your gutters to fill with ice and snow during periods of thawing and freezing. The excessive weight can damage your gutters and cause dangerous icicles to form from gutter overflow, which could create dangerous situations for people and objects below. This is often ignored, but here's what you can do to fix it. Be sure to clear your gutters of leaves and any other debris before snow starts to fall. If you do not like heights or ladders like myself, then I consider installing gutter guards to reduce or eliminate frequent visits to your gutters and downspouts. Make sure you check out my video where I show you how easy it is to install filtered gutter guards. Tip number 6. Are you tired of raking stones from your grass after blowing or plowing snow from winter? Raking stones from your grass in spring can be wearing on your shoulders, back, and leave your hands blistered. Not only are you left with a sore body, but raking excessive amount of stones is a huge waste of time that you could be spending on something productive like getting your garden ready for the year. So here's what I recommend. To minimize the number of stones that you plow or blow into your lawn, mark the edges of your driveway with markers. This will let you know when to stop pushing snow, or it'll even give you a target to shoot for when blowing snow, so you keep the stones at the edge of your lawn instead of littered throughout your yard. Now, if some frost happens to set in before you can get to this task, don't worry. You can get this driveway marking drill bit on Amazon so that you don't have to hit your hands with a hammer while trying to pound holes into the ground, or get the rod stuck and then you can't pull it back out. Tip number 7. According to the National Fire Protection Association, every year more than 2,200 people die from unintentional house fires. Please do not let yourself become a part of that statistic. The risk of accidental house fires increases in winter due to the use of space heaters, furnaces, and in general, just spending more time indoors. Here's how you can keep you and your family safe this winter. Change your friggin' smoke detector batteries. Changing the batteries once a year when daylight saving time ends is the best way to ensure your smoke detectors are working for winter. If you don't have smoke detectors, then you need to install one. Roughly 2/3 or a little more than 1,400 of those 2,200 deaths occurred in homes with no smoke detectors or smoke detectors that did not work. So if you're unsure of the last time that your batteries were changed, now's a good time to go ahead and change them. And remember to test your detectors monthly and replace the entire smoke detector every 10 years. If you want to see just how quickly a fire can engulf a home, check out my video of a controlled house burn that we did a while ago, and imagine what it would be like if this happened in the middle of the night while you were sound asleep. Working smoke detectors can alert you and give you those critical minutes to escape and save you or your family's lives. Tip number 8. Would you be opposed if I told you that you could save up to 10% on your home heating costs over the course of winter? I didn't think so. It all starts with the simple flip of the switch, or two, maybe. Here's what you need to do. Reversing your ceiling fans to spin clockwise can help move heat that's trapped at the ceiling down toward the floor. By keeping the air in your house moving and pushing the warm air down, it will help reduce cold spots by keeping the air temperature more evenly distributed. This is especially helpful to keep you comfortable if you adjust your home to the recommended 68 degrees, or for you Celsius people, 20 degrees, during winter to save on fuel costs. If your thermostat is programmable, adjust the temperature down to 64 when you go to bed. This temperature not only reduces heating costs further, but it also helps to tell your body that it's time to go to bed, and it can help people fall asleep faster. If that seems too cool, it just makes for a good reason to layer up and wear your fun winter pajamas. Tip number 9. Are you looking to save even more money? Oftentimes, people are unaware that sediment is most likely accumulating at the bottom of their water heater, especially if you're on well water. Well, what's the big deal, you ask? Well, a buildup of sediment in the bottom of your water heater tank can actually act as an insulator, and then it causes your gas burner or electric elements to heat your water more slowly and consume more fuel or electricity. Here's how you can overcome this issue. Use this spigot here to flush your water heater and pressure tank if you have one, especially if you're on well water. A cleaner tank means your heat source can heat the water in contact with the metal faster and more efficiently. Be sure to check out my video on how to flush your water heater, where I'll show you step by step how the process works. All right, here we go. Tip number 10. It's not uncommon to have areas of low spots in your yard where water drainage is needed to prevent ponding in summer and unwanted ice rinks in the winter. However, what happens when the ground freezes, and so do your underground tiles that carry water away from your downspouts around your home or low-lying areas? Now you're faced with the same problem that prompted the drainage in the first place. In early spring, when the frost hasn't fully left the ground, your frozen tiles can lead to severe ponding from snowmelt and rain. Or in winter, that pesky ice rink is back just to have a family member slip and fall in your yard. Trust me, this exact thing happened to me and I felt absolutely horrible. I'm just glad that the person didn't break anything in their body. Now, here's what you can do to prevent drain tiles from freezing in winter. Now, the concrete contractor that poured the apron in front of my garage shared with me a couple years ago that if you use cheap water softener salt to fill your catch basins, the salt will actually prevent the tiles from freezing and allow snow melt to drain out of your yard. And it'll also allow those spring rains to drain through too, keeping your tiles open. It worked out perfectly for me, so go ahead and give it a try. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure you come back to Kick It Into Sticks, where we'll help you improve your self-sufficiency on your homestead. From garden to home, you're not in this alone. We'll see you in the next one. Oh, that warm cup of hot cocoa sounded really good. I needed to come in and get warmed up. And don't forget, as we hunker down and spend more time indoors heading into the winter months here, be on the lookout for one of my next videos where we're going to talk about 10 of the most common mistakes that most new homesteaders make. We'll see you in the next one.